So if you don't know us by now, we are the Aha Moment, and my name is Erin Backus. This is our first live, and I have, of course, my co-host with me tonight, and you can see Irene waving this time, and you
This
can
is
see
so
me waving.
exciting. People will see
Usually,
us. Oh my gosh.
I
And
know.
this is a virtual background of my garden from 2 years ago. And
Mm.
if people are curious, that is lots of blue steeples of Lobelia syphilitica, which is an
Oh,
amazing
beautiful.
wild perennial native
Yeah.
blueberry. Lobelia. And it's just, yeah. So I just plant one plant and it went everywhere. So
You
Love
should
it.
plant the cardinalis. That'd be pretty too within
I
the.
know, I know. Yeah, I will probably one of these days. So
And so of course you see our guest right here. We have Anne Meore.
say
Hello.
hi, say hi, Anne, to everybody.
Hi, and to everybody. Nice to
So
be here.
yeah, we are all across the Northeast. It looks like it's Anne's in New York. I'm in Massachusetts, and Irene is up in Maine.
Maine, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And we're all verdant. We all have true backgrounds of greenery,
I
even though Erin's has a blind in her
I
backdrop.
know. All you
I,
see is the blind. I mean, and maybe my cat later on.
I
I
see
mean,
some green grass at least, so that's good.
I don't have a
Yeah.
nice fancy garden like you guys do. I live in an apartment.
Aw,
Um, but so it's kind of different being on the facial, right?
it really is.
I feel kind of exposed. But if you are a listener, please watch this episode on our YouTube channel, which will be out soon. Our website will be out soon. We'll post it on Facebook and our Instagram, and then of course the audio version on the Podbean. We have over a let me just get this right. I'll do the stats later, but we do want to thank our listeners and everyone that had contributed before and all of our previous guests. And Anne was one of them. Like we were just saying 4 years ago, no, I'm sorry, August
August.
2020. Anne came on and talked about her story and her aha moments and kind of what she's doing now. So please go back and listen to that episode. It's really great. And we're so thankful to have her back and to talk about more about what she's doing now. She's still teaching at the NYBG certificate program. She does the Thrive with NYBG, which works with veterans, and she also is now doing Grow, which is with the Bronx VA. So she'll talk more about that tonight as well. So please welcome, please
And
give
Good Sam. Good
and
Samaritan Hospital,
oh,
too.
I'm so sorry. Yes,
That's all right.
and the Good Samaritan Hospital as well.
Yes.
So she's continued with that through her business. I always say that wrong, so say it to me correctly.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. Yeah.
Mhm.
You gotta go fast. You
So,
gotta go
and
fast.
I have to
So
tell you,
Anne has,
Anne,
what is it?
I have to tell Anne that so when I was looking into business names, when I was a independent contractor as just a landscape designer, my husband thought my business name should be Plantarchy, where plants rule.
Oh, that's kind of
So
cool.
yeah, I mean it's kind of on the same level.
Thank you.
But I
Thank you.
felt like it was too much of a leap of naming that people wouldn't quite understand if I was like a nice landscape designer or an evil landscape designer.
I guess you could take it both ways. Yeah. Leaving it up to interpretation.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
So Anne, I mean, how long have you had your business? You've been in the HT field for a very long time.
Yeah. 2007
Yeah.
is when I started it. Yeah. So shoot, that means in a few years it's going to be 20 years. That's craziness.
Wow.
That's craziness. Yeah, and it's really, the business itself has morphed as I have morphed.
Mhm.
Which I think is one of the lovely things about being a sole proprietor, to be
Mhm.
able to you have that flexibility of reinventing yourself, and
Right.
reinventing maybe the populations that you're working with, or what your environment is that you practice in and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You, as a free agent, you have some more liberties to adapt.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. I don't fit in the box well. I need to be able to just expand a little.
I have a feeling a lot of horticultural therapists don't fit well in boxes per se.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. I explained to my students in intro, I said, it's really quite the uh, outside the box thinking, out of the box thinking, or many times we just toss the box. We just don't go with boxes. We don't do any boxes. It's just you. It's you, it's
Yeah,
the client, it's, no box.
that's great. That is, and how do they react to that?
Well, they find it like really, and I said, it depends upon what kind of program you're in. Because if you're in a medical model HT, straight up program in a hospital, for example, inside a hospital, versus for the Grow Garden, which is outside of the hospital, more of a drop-in kind of casual therapeutic horticulture program, you're talking apples and oranges,
Mhm.
truly.
Mhm. So for our listeners, and those of whom will maybe listen, hopefully listen to the 2020 episode, it would be nice to maybe capture all of the acronym organizations and entities that you run. Maybe you could give a little summary of those three, I believe it was, different, or four
Yeah.
different ones.
So I have my philanthropy, that position, that company. But uh the in 2020, back when I spoke with you, we had just started Thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Thrive was a collaboration, a 3-year federal grant, Institute of Museum, Library Museum Science, I think it is.
Yeah, IMLS.
IMLS. And that was a 3-year grant that was kind of put on hold with COVID, pivoted virtually, it started back up again in September of 21.
And who applied for that grant, by the way?
The
I'm
New
just
York Botanical Gardens.
okay. Yeah.
And it was part of their strategic plan to really incorporate and do community outreach. And so the outreach, they tapped me and said, "You got anybody out there in the community?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the Bronx VA is looking for this type of a program." They had a resilience and wellness center that was started in 2018. And then the HT part came along when we got this grant,
Mhm.
which was wonderful. And so that started the Thrive program, which is therapeutic horticulture and rehabilitative intervention for veteran engagement. So that's
Great.
Thrive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh no, I'm just curious. And you remind me what award you won and presented on, and was that on the Thrive program as well? You won an HTR
Yes.
for a couple of years
So,
ago.
that was in 22.
I believe
I
so.
believe it's 22. We did during COVID, actually before COVID, we were able to gather data on the Thrive program and the efficacy in um, how it impacted our work, impacted the predeterminants of suicide and suicidal ideation. So we looked at scales for um, depression, anxiety, anger, loneliness.
Mhm.
No, I'm sorry. It wasn't anger, it was pain.
Mhm.
And in all those domains were positively impacted. And
Right.
one of the wonderful things about this collaboration, truly, was the research arm of the VA, because
Mhm.
all of their programs are so research driven
Right.
that it was
Yes.
wonderful to be able to have advocates for research in HT, which,
Right.
we all know is a struggle,
Mhm.
to get that black and white data.
So were there VA clinicians supporting you
Yes.
to collect the evidence, collect the
Yes.
documentation?
Yeah, yeah. So we worked with a scale that was based upon an inventory that uh, the UK's defense ministry used for their veterans.
Mm.
They came over, Sally Coulthard. She came over and they have a wonderful program there, the Defense Ministry. And so we based ours on theirs. And it's a thermometer, kind of a inventory where the veterans would fill it out on their way to the VA, on the way to NYBG.
Mhm.
And then 3.5 hours later, the same one, so that we would see the numerical,
Mhm.
differential.
Huh.
And I mean,
Mhm.
and it was really staggering at times,
Mhm.
to see what their responses were. And obviously for our side, everything was anonymous and they were given
Mhm.
numbers. And so anyway, so the research, there was an Excellence in Research Award, the
Mhm.
Charles Lewis Award, based on that research
Mhm.
that was done, that document. And then there was the Walker Community Service Award, and that one was based primarily on GROW.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the GROW program, so Thrive, it still goes. We are past our 3-year, cutoff from
Mhm.
the grant. And it has now Thrive has become part of NYBG's strategic plan moving forward.
That's
So
fantastic.
it's there, which is wonderful. Yeah, it's the first, horticultural therapy intervention or therapeutic hort intervention that the garden has ever had on its grounds.
Mhm.
And NYBG has been just so supportive.
Mhm.
Toby Adams, the director of the Edible Academy, Jamie Boyer, VP of Education, and Jen Bernstein, our president, just so supportive to the point of allowing us to meet on Mondays when the Botanical Gardens is closed.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So we have the garden.
Wow.
It's really kind of cool because working with the veteran population, there's so many triggers that
Right.
we have
Yeah.
to consider.
Yep, yep.
And so, we think about that and, crying children running around you may not be a good thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or a screaming child or even an adult, crying or whatever. It's just not good being
Right.
overcrowded and whatnot. So
Right.
we're really truly blessed with that.
Right.
So
Where do the sessions occur
in
on
the Edible
NYBG?
Academy,
I'm sorry?
in the Edible Academy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was, if I recall, that was renovated, what, 10, 12 years ago, that area?
I think it's 5 now.
Oh,
I
it's
think
only
it's
five.
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a beautiful and the video, if you want to put, when you put
Mhm.
the link in, if you look to that video, you'll see the culinary classroom that we have to work in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And we created, integral to our program is going out into the garden and harvesting, preparing the food together and using that each week as a team building activity,
Mm-hmm.
And
decreasing social isolation, increasing mentorship, just so many, target points.
Mm-hmm.
and
And
who
so have they made that Edible Academy area also much more ADA accessible
Yep.
too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We just this cohort that is running now, they're on session 3 of 4. In their first cohort, planted out our first wheelchair accessible pedestal bed at the Edible
That's
Academy. It's
awesome.
gorgeous. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And it was the cohort prior to that filled it with soil, getting it ready for, other, veterans. And so it's just
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful handing of the torch,
Mm-hmm.
in just increasing this program, making it, better.
did you send us a picture of that pedestal bed? Or
Sure,
could
sure.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely could. Yeah.
that'd be
So,
fun.
Anne, I also just wanted to ask while we're talking about Thrive and the veterans and your collaboration with the VA. Um, I myself, as a horticultural therapist working at a botanical garden, have had a struggle with connecting with our local VA. And when I say local, they're still like 40 miles away from
Mhm.
the gardens.
Yeah.
So transportation is a real challenge, or, identifying the outpatient accessibility to the gardens, and utilizing what's called main care, which is kind of a social service health insurance program through that the VA gets approved to use for doctor's visits, or physical therapy appointments, or massages even, or acupuncture, but they won't send them to a horticultural therapy session. So I'm curious about your connections and how you were able to kind of break into the VA, because it's a hard wall.
It certainly is.
And through what channels? Was it with a psychiatrist? Was it with the recreation therapist? Tell us a little bit about how you guys were able to connect with the VA.
Sure. So, honestly, my initial connection with the VA was through our Edible Academy director, Toby Adams, who called one day in 2018 and said, "Hey, listen, there's a psychiatrist, a research psychiatrist over at the Bronx VA. She's got this grant she wants to write, and it's about horticultural therapy, and they want to do a greenhouse, and they want to do, lots of things. Her son was one of our crafters at the Edible Academy years ago. She's good people, would you help out?" So I said yes. I didn't know what, I had never stepped into a VA hospital before, and I went over there and I helped them craft this grant. Didn't get the money, but got the relationship.
Yes.
And was able in that process to school them on exactly what horticultural therapy was. Which was, beneficial in and of itself. And then when the grant happened, I also learned about the VA's whole health model of care. And that, when I saw the graphic, that diagram of the wheel with all of the different aspects of me, and everything that comprises what and who the patient is, I was like, oh, we do that every day. We tap on all of those things all the time in so many different, engagement activities. So when I saw that, it started simmering and percolating. And then when Toby said, listen, we need a partner in the community, I said, I got him.
That is
And
fantastic.
that's how it worked. That's how it worked.
So there was a very organic process, and to the credit of that psychiatrist on staff.
Absolutely.
I mean, otherwise it would have been like, who knows, how it would have evolved.
Yeah, we and that process there, Anne Fader, who was the director of social work at one point at the VA over all of social work, she is the one person who created this Resilience and Wellness Center with the psychiatrist, Dr. Hajiji, Fatima Hajiji. And during COVID, she decided to retire. Anne decided to retire. She decided, though, to be a volunteer at the Thrive program. Wheels kept on turning, and we realized that our veterans, after 4 weeks of Thrive, are like, they're at the starting gate. They're just learning how to do this and excited about it. And now what? And so that's where Grow came in. And that was also an effort on the part of the Resilience and Wellness Center to create a program on the grounds of the VA.
I see. Okay.
They knew that I had my own personal business.
I see.
And so they tapped that side.
I see.
And created, wrote up a government contract. I was able to win the government contract. That's a whole learning curve there. If you're familiar with the SAM system and government contracts, and whoa, I think I got grayer during that process. But anyway, that's where Grow started. And Grow that's a program of the Resilience and Wellness Center, and that is gardening for resilience and optimal wellness.
Okay.
And
And I have to ask, how
yeah.
did NYBG feel about that? Like, were they understanding that you were kind of doing this on the, like you connected with VA on an extended basis?
They were extremely supportive
Mhm.
Great.
because I wasn't working full time for NYBG.
Right.
I'm per diem, really.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
receiving benefits. I don't, none of that. And so, we created a springboard
Yes,
with
right.
Thrive, and we're allowing them to jump where,
Right. Yep.
so what is ending up happening is that it's going both ways, as far as feeder programs, I want to say.
Mhm.
The
Okay, makes sense.
Thrive program is feeding the Grow program with its graduates.
Yes, exactly.
And people, veterans who are going in and out of the VA for appointments or consults or whatever services, are
Mhm.
passing by this gorgeous garden saying, what the heck is this?
Right.
And then becoming part of the Grow crew, or because there's different facets of different programs offered there. And then we share with them about Thrive.
So
And
you're
that's,
doing that, you're doing Grow at the Bronx VA then?
Yep.
and that's
Okay.
that raised bed, pictures you sent, all of raised beds.
All of those are, yeah, all raised beds.
That's the grow. Okay.
That is Grow. Yeah.
It's
Um,
gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
How,
Thank you.
so how many veterans do you actually get to serve in Grow, for instance?
So Grow is a drop-in program.
Mm-hmm.
There are really three arms of Grow. The first one is the Grow crew, and Grow
Mm-hmm.
crew meets twice a month for an hour program. And it's really about garden education, plant education, garden maintenance. It is nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do this? How do we take care of this?
Mm-hmm.
That's Grow crew. And
Mhm.
again, it's a drop-in program, so we could have two people if it's a crappy day, or we can have 15 people if
Wow.
it's a really nice day. So you
Mhm.
just don't, you kind of got to roll with it.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
hard to plan for.
It's super hard, super
Mhm.
hard. But there's plenty to do,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because we're not there every day. So that's Grow Crew. Then we have the Growth, GROTH. So it's
Yeah.
Grow Therapeutic Horticulture. That is every Friday. So that's 4 times a month.
Okay.
And that is a therapeutic horticulture group where, typically we choose one of the tenets of mindfulness, whether it's generosity, whether it's gratitude, whether it's letting go, beginner's mind, and we focus on an activity that brings that in.
Mhm.
And so it starts off with, a meditation. We do soil meditations and a lot of sharing, journaling, things like that.
Mm.
Say,
Brooke,
soil meditation.
huh?
What did you say? Soil meditation?
Soil meditations.
Can you
Yeah.
talk more about that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's literal grounding,
Your bare feet, maybe
not feet, hands,
hands. Interesting.
hands,
Okay.
hands, literally just laying down. That's the way I start all of my therapeutic horticulture activities or engagements, whether
Right.
it's potting up, whether it's sowing seeds, whatever it is. It always starts with, squaring up against the table, putting your things, putting both feet on the floor, and just trying to feel comfortable to close your eyes and lay your hands on the soil.
Definitely.
So it is
Amen.
yeah,
Amen.
it's
Love
the
it.
literal grounding, right?
Yeah.
In the literal sense. And so, um,
I want to know how many people ask for gloves.
not a lot, not a lot. And I honestly, so we're talking military. When
Yeah.
they're in boot camp and they're digging, they talk, it's a whole language, right? And they oftentimes, will talk about these experiences in the military where they had to like dig into things and dig holes for no reason and, like just be in the dirt. And so not a lot of hardly ever do we get someone saying, can I use gloves?
Yeah.
Mm.
I thought when we started the Thrive program I thought for sure they're going to ask for gloves. So we had gloves for everybody and we sent them home with, a pair of gloves. But during the actual program, they never asked for the gloves, so it's really kind of cool. So that's Friday. And I have Brooke Gibbard Lorenzetti. She is a recent graduate of the Therapeutic Horticulture Certificate at NYBG. And she is my Friday therapeutic hort facilitator there at the
Okay.
VA. She's also the manager of the Edible Academy.
Okay.
So on her day off, she does the veterans.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Yay.
yes. Grow Crew, just as an FYI, my Grow Crew facilitator is Phyllis D'Amico, who is the coordinator of the NYBG program.
So she comes from New Jersey and comes
She
over?
does, like a nut, like an absolute nut. And she does Grow Crew. And then
Phyllis, if you listen to this, if you watch this, we've been trying to get you onto this program and you have not responded.
She does not only the Grow Crew, but our third arm of the Grow program is a staff support program. And the staff support program happens once a month. And it includes some type of a plant engagement. Phyllis she's always busy in the kitchen and she brings like a tasting. This past week we planted transplanted nasturtium seedlings, and then we had a salted nasturtium butter that the staff members tried. And she does in the slides, you'll see the plant of the month, which is Phyllis creates this beautiful brochure with information and the recipe that we used about the care and the culture of the plant. And the staff members, we get anywhere from staff support groups, we get anywhere from 60 to 100 people in an hour.
Holy crap.
Holy, I'm telling you, it is something that, during COVID, when we talked last, out in the Garden of Hope, I really recognized the trauma that our healthcare workers were undergoing.
Yeah.
And I likened it to the trauma that our veterans experience, many of our veterans. And so when we were putting this program together, this contract together, I thought, you know what? It's important to have staff buy-in anywhere you are, right? We know this. If you don't have staff buy-in, your program's as good as dead.
Exactly. I mean, you have to have their champion, their cheerleading, their advocacy. They have to be on board for sure to make it successful.
And so that was part of the contract. We wove it into the contract, and it is integral. The staff members look forward to it every month. So
that's been going since 2020.
No, that has been going. So the Grow program started I installed that garden on the grounds of the VA in 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in 22. And we designed it end of 21. We installed March of 22 and started programming in May of 22. And ever since that time, we've had a first Wednesday of the month staff support.
So I think we need to hear a little bit about you in this, in the sense that who is Anne Meore in this experience, as far as how do you operate juggling these multiple programs and, managing this as your livelihood as well. Like how do you balance it? How do you do this? What is a day in the life of Anne Meore?
With wonder and grace.
What?
I said with wonder and grace.
And a smile. And a smile. You know what? It is it's funny. I stopped working at Bergen Regional Medical Center in 2015, and I said, it's just getting to be too much. My plate's too full. And now, my partner David's like, look at your plate. Look at your plate.
Fill it
I'm
back
like,
up,
I
yeah.
know, it grew
My
again.
my partner David says the same thing.
So, you know what? I many years ago, someone said, if you wear different hats doing in the field that you love,
Mhm.
you won't burn
Mm.
if you wear different hats. And so I feel like, part of Anne is the instructor. It's what I love teaching. I love teaching.
Mhm.
And I only
Yep.
teach the intro course because I love the light bulb moment, your ahas. I
Mhm.
love seeing students coming here going, wow, you mean, like those types of things.
Mhm.
Um, love that. So there's that teaching arm. There's the service. Community service is a big part of Anne.
Mhm.
Um, doing what I can to help people who are marginalized, to, whether it's food or whether it's just an ear, or whether it's vocational skills. It's that's a big part of Anne.
Mhm.
At the Garden of Hope, it's about providing food. At the VA, it's about, providing vocational skills and therapeutic outlets, right?
Mm.
Restorative spaces. At the VA, it's more, geared toward, the wellness plan and,
Mm.
a little bit more formalized. So I wear these different hats.
Mhm.
My children are now older and out of the house. So I don't have that part.
Mhm.
You still have the adult child saying, my cat is throwing up 5 times. I don't know what's wrong with it, and dealing with, those types of things. They'll always need mother. But I feel like, I don't know, I'm learning how to delegate.
Yeah.
I'm for me to hire at people
Yeah.
is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of us in this field start off as a team of one.
Yeah.
And so we started, with the mindset of I can do this myself.
Yeah.
As I age and my hair gets grayer, I enjoy having other people part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I enjoy listening and saying, that's a great idea, go with it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that's
Yep.
great. So yeah,
Let them have their shining moments just like as you did.
oh my gosh, yeah, there's enough to go around. And
Mhm.
this is, I just, there's so many niches where horticultural therapy and therapeutic horticulture work and
Yeah.
Oh
can
yeah.
work,
Yeah.
that there's enough to go around.
Yep. Oh my God. There's too much to go around. I mean, there's so much need and opportunity for it.
Right,
So,
right. Don't you wish you
yeah.
could just clone yourself a million times over?
No kidding. I say that all the time. How about you, Erin? Don't you ever feel like that? Wish you could be in 5 different places at the same time?
Uh, I used to. I've been taking a step back from a lot of things. So I'm in the hibernation, I guess. I don't know. Not really hibernation mode, but I've been taking a step back from a lot of things. So I'm not as
Good.
busy as you guys right
Yeah.
That's good though. That's
now.
good. That's why you have no wrinkles on your forehead, for crying out loud. Zero.
Um, so speaking of delegation, I mean, how have your assistants, do you call them assistants or what?
No, I call them partners. I mean, they
Yeah.
work, for me, but they, it was important for me to be able to bring people into the program that I envisioned,
Yeah.
that I knew I did not have to walk them through.
Right.
Right? That I knew I had every confidence in the world in both of them. And so to me, it was just like it was a no-brainer.
Hmm.
And I feel blessed and honored to have so much experiential knowledge from
Yeah.
both of these people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of other questions. What are you excited about this summer as we're, really entering into the summer mode right now? Do you have any projects or initiatives or self and goals, goals that you've
Ooh,
constructed for yourself?
ooh. Uh,
It
well,
doesn't have to be all of those questions. You could answer one of those.
okay. Thanks, Irene. How much time do we have? Um,
Pick one of those. Make a
so
choice.
there's a project that has been ongoing since June of 22. In June of 22, we were awarded a sizable grant at Good Samaritan Hospital for the renovation of the Garden of Hope.
Nice.
The Garden of Hope, we built it back in 2012. And, like any untreated raised bed, we're rotting from the inside out. And like us too, we're rotting from the inside out and needed an overhaul. And
Mhm.
so
A tune-up.
reconstructive
Freshman.
surgery, I call it. So the town of Ramapo, where we're located, was awarded monies through the federal American Recovery Act. And in an effort to help benefit community green spaces, of which we are considered one of them at the Garden of Hope, they awarded us part of those monies. So we are going to be undergoing complete demolition.
Wow.
And that has been now, I've been working on this project and learning this. I never thought I would be a general contractor, but I have been serving as a general contractor, getting this project planned so that as soon as, we pull the trigger, the demolition is happening, the regrading, the drainage, the everything, putting in new garden beds, new fencing, a pergola, a new
You're
produce
doing this with a
shed.
team, though, of other specialists, right?
No, maybe that one, that one. Yeah, no. This is her, and she's 28 hours
Oh
a
my
week.
God.
I'm only 28
Holy
hours a week
crap.
there, like it's crazy. So that has been extremely frustrating. I'm waiting for the rewarding part. I know it'll come. And it's, right now we've just contracted with a landscaper. We've contracted with the people doing demolition and the fencing. We have our new garden beds. Shout out to Dura Green Bed out in Oregon. A really great aggregate, concrete and recycled wood chip
Say the name
for
again, please.
Dura Green Bed.
Okay.
Green bed.
Yeah, 25-year sustainability. I mean, it's just a neat project that has
We're
been.
looking for aha moment sponsors.
Oh, well, I don't know if they'll sponsor, but hey, so they are, I'm looking forward to, getting those beds in.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we've got lots of other, little things that are going into the Garden of Hope. So that's a very exciting thing that I'm thinking is going to probably happen end of July, beginning August. We'll start demolition.
Well, the reason why I ask, the team of apparently yourself, but like we all could utilize perspectives of some, things to give you a even more holistic opportunity of how you want it to be, but also just like so you don't feel like you have to take it all on your shoulders, girl. I mean, that's a lot of work on yourself to.
It's a lot of work. I mean, I have the support of our facilities department. I have the complete support of the general mission department, my boss,
Okay.
complete support. And that is, and then, the encouraging people that come through the garden every day, being able to do collaborative work in the garden with our outpatient rehab folks.
Yeah.
That's an exciting part for me. I work often with my daughter, back in August, she had just become a doctor in PT.
Whoa.
in August of 2020 when I did the podcast.
Congratulations.
She did that in,
her.
yeah, and she got a job, landed a job at Good Sam. And so she brings her patients out to the Garden of Hope.
Oh,
Must be such a
awesome.
nice experience for you to have
Oh
her
my gosh,
with
it's
you.
wonderful. We actually went over, we were in Scotland in November of 23, she and I, and we presented at Trellis Scotland. So the
Mhm.
therapeutic horticulture
I've
Very
heard of them.
cool.
Yep.
association over there. They're really have you heard of them?
Yeah, I have.
I
Yeah,
think I think I saw that somewhere. You
they are
posted it maybe or
wonderful.
something like
Oh
that.
my goodness. I believe there's a Trellis in Canada, and then there's Trellis Scotland. They
Okay.
are just lovely, lovely people. And so my daughter and I went over there and shared our work. And it was just terrific, just terrific.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that
Yeah.
so much.
That sounds like a very ambitious and wonderful project. And
Yeah.
congratulations
Thanks.
So,
Thanks.
on that
We'll have
breaking
to
ground.
we'll do an on-site podcast when it happens.
that's yeah, that would be really cool.
You
I
know, I mean,
that's
so
our
many
next
people
step.
have said, it, think about writing some kind of a guide for, HTs who will be going through this, or even just, little manuals of how to navigate the SAM system, or, these little things that are really pivotal, you
Yeah.
know?
You I mean, you have so much knowledge and experience, sharing that would just be a turning point for a lot of individuals in the field.
Mhm.
Um, so while I don't know what Irene's doing, as you can see, but I have a question. So along with all of these other things that you're doing, do you
Yeah.
take on interns, HT interns at all?
Yeah. So we take
Children.
on interns in the Thrive program.
Mm-hmm.
And we also just started interns for the therapeutic horticulture certificate at NYBG. We started last year, end of last year, with interns there. Yeah, these are images back in 22 when we first installed.
I
Um,
mean, they're gorgeous. Who helped you install? Is there a company that helped you with that?
yeah, the company that we contracted with was Kaleidoscope School Gardens.
Mm,
And they're out of Westchester, and they were wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I,
Um,
they're gorgeous.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just really cool. The juxtaposition, I always find the juxtaposition between the garden setting and the buildings. That's Brooke Lorenzetti over there, and that was our first year, those trellises, the vining supports over there in that image, that was actually done as part of a
Here.
staff teamwork um, project. We had trainings for allied professionals in the hospital
Cool.
to get them on board and to get them to understand how they could use the garden for their patients. Yep. And
Wow.
then this is just, as she's starting to grow and mature. And we found out a lot of things along the way, that weeds grow in between those cracks. And they're really hard to get out. Yeah, we don't, what's wonderful, and one of the things that I thought was that we would experience a lot of theft. We do not. Um, there's that juxtaposition again, and the arbor kind of coming into, and a transitional kind of arbor there. We do outdoor programming. We have tables, and the whole setup is in the shed, of being able to just like throw down a table and just really start, do work. We did realize, this is an image of some veterans. We do creative planning of the garden beds and have them being an integral part of the planning of,
Nice.
where things are. We realized we needed shade. So this
Yes.
happened in
Yep.
23. we realized, we were like, oh my gosh, it's hot in the Bronx in the
Well, and
summer.
all that pavement around you.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that pergola has come in super, super handy. We do site visits for NYBG. So we have students come over and we share our program with them. This is just a picture of that.
love it.
Ownership, you know, having people literally carve out their names in there.
I love that. That's-
So this
yeah.
is an image of the staff support, one of the staff support programs, people coming in, potting up. There's Phyllis down over there in the left-hand corner.
Oh yeah, there she is.
There
Yep.
she is.
Yeah, yep.
And then just, just some images of,
Those are some beautiful eggplants right there. My goodness.
and the eggplants are not the faves. I don't know why, but they just, people are not, drumming down the doors for the eggplants. I'm not sure why.
Well, the thing
More
is, it's one of
peppers.
those vegetables you
They're
can't really
thorny.
eat. You can't eat them raw necessarily, but what I like to do is I get the little fingers or the
Yes.
small ones.
Yeah.
And then those you can just pluck off really easily. They yield much faster. And then you tell people, you can just put them on your saute pan just like that. And then they'll
Yes.
cook through. And that's,
Yeah.
easy, easy, easy. You got to keep it really easy.
Gotta
Put them
keep
on
it
your own
simple.
saute pan. Not for me.
Yeah. So there's
How
just
about
some,
a compost bin? Do you have a
we have compost piles right now. This is more staff support and our intern in here. We have
and those
compost
tiny
piles.
trays come in handy. Oh
They
boy.
do, they do. Except we are at, and this is an
That's
example of the monthly plant of the month programs that Phyllis puts up. And then on the right, the left-hand side is prep for like a December indoor staff program. They were making swags.
Swags of which? Of what plant?
It was evergreen swags with
Okay.
pine cones and a little sprig of rosemary, and
I see.
yeah, just real pretty. And then we made
Oh, I love that.
soaps, some herbal soaps with the veterans and the staff.
Did you grow that loofah?
Brooke Gibbard grew the loofah.
Cool.
Yeah, she did. There's Brooke. This is a NYBG site visit where it's like, yes, you guys can come visit, but you will work. So even though it's cold out, you will work. And this is just the other day, what she looks like literally right now.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
cow.
Well, you know what? We are, that's last year at the end of the
Okay.
year. So, but the other
Our
one was now.
zone. You're much warmer zone right now.
Well, you know what? I think it's the microclimate, Erin. I think it's,
Oh, 'cause of the
you know what? It is a
concrete.
concrete jungle
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
one of the highest points of the Bronx, and so the wind is fierce. Fierce. So, yeah. So yeah, let's grow. Let's grow.
And tell everybody what that bean is that you have growing there.
That one, isn't that that's the something love, no, passion, love, what is it?
I thought it was a Fazolius. I thought that was one of
Oh,
those.
I don't know the botanical name.
Okay,
I thought it was
it's a
something
Being all
like,
fancy Fazulius. Like
sorry,
I thought it
it's
was
a
something like,
climbing ornamental bean plant, and I'm just trying. I'm totally spacing on the name of it.
I don't know the botanical
obvious
name
that
of this.
ornamental climbing bean.
Yeah,
but-
okay. Thanks for the obvious remark.
But like what cultivar is it? I mean, come on. I don't know.
I was hoping that
Hmm.
Anne would respond to that.
I think it's something like
Sorry.
burnt passion, something love,
Burnt
hot,
passion.
something.
Now I feel like I have to find
Burnt
out what it
passion.
is.
I'm looking it up.
Yikes.
I
We'll-
Look it
we'll
up.
put it- We'll figure it out later. I can't
Oh,
believe
come
I'm forgetting
on. What is it now? You're killing me.
this.
burnt
Oh
passion.
gosh, I'm looking this up as we.
Hold on.
Oh.
Wait, climbing bean.
No, it's not that.
Burnt passion.
Oh man.
Come on, you guys.
Ah. Sorry, I could be wrong. Maybe it's an Apomia relative. Now I think about it, it's probably an Apomia relative. Okay, well, I'll figure it out
Yeah,
later.
figure it out.
figure it out, let me know. I'll hashtag it. I don't know.
So as we look through these plants, and now we're talking about a little bit about plants, Erin has her wonderful closing
Oh.
question for you.
No, I think I'm gonna switch it up for Anne.
Oh, switch it up.
Yeah, I'm always curious. What is there? Is there a good book that you suggest to our listeners, or that you're reading right now, that incorporates horticulture and maybe possibly horticultural therapy?
Yeah. Right now, I'm actually rereading Sue Stewart Smith's The Well-Gardened Mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we have a first ever book club at Good Samaritan Hospital for staff members. And so the physician's librarian came to me and said, would we be able to have the meeting out here? And I said, well, that's sure, you can absolutely have the meeting out here, but can I pick the book? And, and she said, yeah, this is the first time. And so that is the book that I'm having the staff members read. So
Okay,
I'm
I
listening to
I
it.
found the vine, if anyone wants to know.
Yes,
It's
go
called
ahead.
Minya Lobata, Firecracker, flowering.
Firecracker.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Good. We'll go with Firecracker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody has definitely
All
I've
is
had a
well
few
in the world.
recommendations of getting the what is it again? The
Well-Gardened Mind.
Well-Gardened Mind. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
And
It's,
did she speak at MIBG at one
yeah,
point?
I believe she's spoken twice.
Spoken twice, yeah.
Yeah, she's terrific. She did one in person, I believe, and then one was during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. So good read for sure.
Well, thank you, Anne, for so much for contributing once again, full of inspiration and
Oh, you're kind.
ideas.
Thank you.
Really, it's been remarkable to hear how your journey has been in the last 4 years since we last spoke to you.
Yeah, a long time, 4 years, my Lord.
I
A
can't
lot
believe
has
it either.
happened
Yeah.
since then. Yep.
Yeah, it has. And you know what? Thanks for, forging on with the podcast and this is the first live video one.
This is going to be the first, the
Yeah,
first episode on our YouTube channel, the first visual.
the first visual. Well,
Oh.
I'm honored. And I'm glad that, I planted some flowers yesterday. So that's good. I didn't think I was going to have it out here, but it was such a nice day. And
It's
I thought it was,
perfect.
better
It's
than,
perfect.
having my cats everywhere behind me. So
Perfect.
anyway, thank you guys very much for all you do and for your inspiration and yeah, carry on.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne.
All
Thank
right.
you, Erin. What a wonderful motivator Erin is. I can't.
I'm trying,
Truly.
doing something in my life.
Refill. Get yourself a refill.
Listeners, and watchers and viewers, thank you so much for following the Aha Moment podcast. Again, please go back and listen to Anne's first podcast. I believe it was episode 8.
Wow.
So that's how far back it was. Please follow us. Please like us. Please share. The more followers we get, the better. The more the word gets out about horticultural therapy and therapeutic horticulture, the better for this field. And please let us know in the comments about who you want to hear from next, or if you have any ideas about who we can reach out to.
Or
to
books or
story.
plants that you love to use in your programming, or just what you like to garden with. Exactly.
We will see you next time.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks, you guys.
everybody.
Take care.